Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to tell you how you can save money getting your private pilot license. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Justice Zills, and this channel is all about automobile and aviation fun. And today we're at North Perry Airport. I was gonna fly, but we started getting some pretty gusty winds, and it was more than I felt comfortable flying in, so I decided I'd rather stay on the ground and be glad I'm here than be in the sky and wish I was on the ground. But judging by the analytics, you all enjoy the vlogs that I do that tell you about how much money it costs me to do things. I decided to make the best of the situation and tell you how you can save money getting your private pilot license. The first thing you can do is establish a budget. And I don't just mean like decide you're gonna spend a certain amount of money. I mean actually have that money ready to spend. Whenever you start your training, it's best, in my opinion, to do it as condensed as you possibly can. That way everything is fresh in your mind. You're not having to repeat material. You're not having to repeat flights. And your CFI knows exactly what you did the last time you all flew together. They're probably instructing more than one person, so I think it's probably best to stay top of mind with them. Also, preparing the budget makes you be more realistic about what the actual costs are going to be. A lot of schools that claim that you can get your license with them for like less than $10,000. If you're a phenomenal student and you crank through the program and there are no issues at all, no bumps along the way, yeah, that could be possible, but for me, it took twice as much. You can check out the last video on how much it cost me to get my private license if you want to know more there. So at the time of this video, I'd say budget at least like 15 grand. And that way, you know, you're going to take into account things like, you know, the cost to go back and forth to the airport, the cost to get a headset, all the other equipment that you might want to have while you're flying. The second thing you can do to help save money getting your private pilot license is to go ahead and knock out the FAA written exam as soon as possible. You're going to be learning this information anyway. You're going to be going to ground school. And so for me, I thought it was a lot more valuable to just go ahead and take the sporties class, get, you know, up to speed on all of the knowledge that I'm going to need for flying anyway. By knocking out the written sooner, you're going to spend less time in ground school with your instructor, which is going to end up costing you less money down the road. The third thing that you can do to save money on your private pilot license is to research your school and research the CFIs. I made the huge mistake of just starting at the closest school, and I ended up spending more money per hour, and I ended up picking a different school in the long run anyway, which ultimately led to me getting about 12.7 hours of dual instruction that I probably could have gone without, and I could have saved $4,090.50 had I just started at the school that I ended up finishing at. When it comes to schools, there are certain things you want to think of. Obviously, it's important for proximity to your house, so you're not having to drive really far. There's going to be days where you go to the airport and all of a sudden the wind turns or the weather changes and you're not going to be able to fly. So one thing to think about is whether or not the hourly rates are wet or dry. So does it come with the fuel, or do you have to pay extra for the fuel? Also, you want to know how many planes do they have in their fleet and how often are they down for maintenance. You know, you don't want to pick a school where you're trying to get all your hours done, but they never have planes available for you. Also, you want to check for your CFI availability. So by choosing a school that has good fleet availability and finding a CFI that is a good fit to you, you'll be able to condense all your flight training down a lot more, because you're going to be able to get those flights in a lot quicker, and you're going to have a CFI that remembers where they left off with you on your last flight. The fourth thing that you can do to save money on your private pilot license is to be prepared. So the night before you go flying, make sure you study your materials, make sure you know what you're going to be doing during your next lesson. This way you're going to spend less time in ground school, and you're going to get to the material a lot quicker in the sky as well. It's going to give your CFI confidence that you're really engaged in this process. That will lead to less time recapping the last flight lesson, and also to allow you to get in the plane a lot quicker, spending less time on the ground. And finally, the fifth thing that you can do to save money on your private pilot license is to research your DPE. As you get toward the end of your training, you're going to want to schedule your check ride in advance. Sometimes it's not easy to get DPEs. There are only so many of them, and they only have so much availability. You really want to try to lock in your check ride as soon as your training is going to be completed. That way you're going to be as current as possible on all the information and your flight skills. Research your DPE, be smart about it. Find people who have done their check ride with that DPE before. Find out what they typically like to ask for during the check ride. It's almost like getting a cheat sheet for your exam. Also, find someone that has great reviews. The check ride for a lot of people is a stressful situation, so you want to find someone that has good reviews, right? You know, they were kind of calm, they didn't really pressure you or stress you out. So do your research on the DPE. All right, so that's it for the 5 things that I recommend for saving money on your private pilot license. If there are others, please leave them in the comments section below. I'd love to hear what other people have to say about it. And thanks again for watching. I'm trying to build this channel, trying to do a lot more with aviation, and it's not cheap. So don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed it or if you learned something from it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.